Listen carefully. There's a reason why, deep within your vast being, this is about to happen. It's not anxiety, it's not imagination, it's an ancient intuition that awakens when history is about to take an irreversible turn. The year 2026 is not just another year on the calendar. It's a threshold. And more than 5 centuries ago, a man had already written about it. Nostradamus spoke of a time when the world would be shaken not by a single crisis, but by 5 truths so powerful they would shake the very foundations of everything we take for granted. Uncomfortable truths, truths that many preferred to silence, hide, or ridicule, because confronting them meant accepting that humanity doesn't control its destiny as much as it believes. His writings about this specific year are so unsettling that even today, many scholars choose to ignore them. Each of these prophecies describes events that, upon first hearing them, seem impossible, inconceivable, too grand to be real. And yet, history has shown us time and again that Nostradamus was right in his great warnings. Wars, the fall of empires, global crises. Everything was foretold in symbols when no one wanted to listen. Centuries later, the medium Chico Xavier reinforced this warning with a phrase that resonates more powerfully today than ever before. 5 trials. Humanity will face them before awakening. Now, you are not here by chance. If this message has reached you, it is because there is something your consciousness is ready to remember. Before continuing, I wholeheartedly invite you to click the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this message with someone you love. Perhaps that person also senses that something is approaching, but hasn't yet been able to put it into words. Stay until the end because what you are about to hear could forever change the way you see the present and the future. Nostradamus was a master of symbolism. Nothing he wrote was meant to be taken literally. He hid his most unsettling revelations in quatrains that seemed absurd, confusing, impossible to decipher. But when you apply the right keys, when you understand his coded language and connect his symbols to current events, something unsettling happens. 5 prophecies destined for the emerging year 2026, and each one speaks not only of the outside world, but of you, of me, and of a humanity about to face its greatest test. What is coming is not just destruction, it is revelation, it is choice, it is awakening. And when you understand these 5 truths, you will never be able to look at reality the same way again. Stay with me, because this is just the beginning. The first prophecy is perhaps the most shocking of all. Nostradamus wrote, "In the year of the 2 serpents, the heavens will open and what has been hidden will be revealed. Governments will admit what they have denied for 70 years, and humanity will know that it was never alone." The 2 snakes represent the repeated number 2, that is, the year 2026. What Nostradamus is saying is that in that year there will be an official revelation about extraterrestrial intelligence. I know what you're thinking, it sounds like science fiction, but look at what's already happening. Governments are admitting the existence of unidentified aerial phenomena that defy all conventional explanation. The Pentagon has released videos. Military pilots are giving public testimony, and serious scientists are demanding in-depth investigations. The process of gradual revelation has already begun, and Nostradamus saw that in 2026 this process will reach its climax. He wrote in even more detail, "When the leaders admit the heavenly truth, 3 nations will reveal undeniable evidence. Structures in places where there shouldn't be structures, time-defying technologies, and the question that will change everything: where did we really come from?" Nostradamus is describing how multiple governments, likely the United States, China, and Russia, will coordinate disclosures about archaeological or technological discoveries of non-human origin. And this isn't as far-fetched as it sounds. There are already leaked reports about anomalous structures found in Antarctica, recovered technological objects that don't match any known human civilization, and artifacts that suggest humanity's history is far more complex than we've been taught. Nostradamus foresaw that in 2026 this information would finally be released to the public, not out of the goodness of governments, but because they will no longer be able to hide it. The reason they won't be able to hide it is the most unsettling part of this prophecy. Nostradamus wrote, "Heaven itself will force the revelation. Objects will appear over major cities in numbers that cannot be ignored. And the people will demand answers that their kings will no longer be able to deny." He is predicting mass sightings of aerial phenomena over major cities, so many and so obvious that denial will become impossible. Imagine this happening in 2026. Unknown objects appearing simultaneously over New York, Mexico City, London, Tokyo, and Sydney. millions of people seeing them with their own eyes. Videos recorded from thousands of different angles, impossible to discredit as mere weather balloons or optical illusions. At that point, governments will have to admit what Nostradamus said they would admit. We are not alone, and we never were. The impact of this revelation will be profound. Nostradamus wrote, "When humanity knows it is being watched, everything will change. Religions will tremble. Scientists will question. The powerful will lose their power over minds." This accurately describes what will happen. Our entire understanding of ourselves, our history, and our place in the universe will be forced to expand. And that will be just the beginning of the transformations of the year 2026. Nostradamus's second prophecy is equally disturbing. He wrote, "The eagle of the north will extend its talons too far and be bitten by the dragon of the east. What began as trade will end in fire, and the world will hold its breath as two giants clash." This is a clear prediction of a serious conflict between the United States and China in 2026. Nostradamus saw that the trade and geopolitical tensions between these two superpowers, which have been growing for years, will reach a breaking point, but it will not be a conventional war. He wrote that the weapons will not be made of metal, but of information. The battles will not be fought on visible fields, but on invisible wires, and millions will suffer without seeing a single soldier. He is describing cyber warfare on a scale we have never experienced. In 2026, according to Nostradamus, we will see massive cyber attacks between the United States and China affecting critical infrastructure, causing power grids to collapse, financial systems to be compromised, and communications to be disrupted. And most terrifyingly, each side will blame the other while ordinary citizens suffer the consequences. Nostradamus foresaw chaos in the streets when the technology we all depend on suddenly fails. But there's a twist to this prophecy that few notice. Nostradamus wrote, "When the giants clash, the third will rise. The one who seemed weak will prove strong, and the new order will be born not from the two, but from the third." This suggests that while the United States and China are preoccupied with their conflict, another power or alliance of powers will emerge in 2026. Many believe he is referring to India or a Latin American alliance led by Brazil. The third prophecy is the most terrifying of all. Nostradamus wrote, "In the year of transformation, the earth will cry out in pain. The ring of fire will awaken. Sleeping mountains will spew forth fury, and cities built on arrogance will learn humility." He is predicting massive volcanic activity in the Pacific Ring of Fire during the year 2026. The Ring of Fire includes volcanoes in Japan, the Philippines, Indonesia, and the entire west coast of North and South America. Nostradamus saw that multiple volcanoes in this region will erupt almost simultaneously in 2026. It will not be a coincidence. It will be the Earth responding to the vibrations of conflict and chaos that humanity is generating. Geologists will call it normal tectonic activity, but Nostradamus knew it was something more. This is where the message becomes truly chilling. Nostradamus specifically mentioned sleeping mountains, referring to volcanoes that have been dormant for centuries or even millennia. He wrote, "He who sleeps beneath the great city of the West will awaken, and millions will have to hear." Many interpreters believe this refers to the Yellowstone supervolcano in the United States, which has been dormant for over 600,000 years. A Yellowstone eruption would be catastrophic beyond imagination. It would blanket much of North America in ash, affect the global climate for years, and cause mass famines. Nostradamus saw signs that this sleeping giant would begin to awaken in 2026, not necessarily with a full-blown eruption that year, but with enough activity to terrify and force mass evacuations. Nostradamus also wrote about the consequences of this volcanic activity. The sky would darken with ash, the sun would struggle to shine, crops would fail, and humanity would remember that it does not control this planet. This is a warning about a volcanic winter that could follow the 2026 eruptions, plummeting global temperatures, failing agriculture, and a global food crisis. The parlor seer saw it all. The fourth prophecy deals with something that sounds impossible, but which Nostradamus described in specific detail. He wrote, "In the appointed year, water will forget its place. Oceans will rise where they should not rise. Lands that were dry will become seas, and millions will seek new homes." He is predicting that the year 2026 will see catastrophic flooding in regions that do not normally experience such events, but these are not normal floods caused by rain or hurricanes. Nostradamus wrote, Water will come from within the earth, not from the sky. What was frozen will become liquid, and the earth will drink until it drowns. This is fascinating because it describes exactly what scientists are warning about: the accelerated melting of underground ice and inland glaciers, causing the water table to rise dramatically. In 2026, according to Nostradamus, this process will reach a critical point. Coastal cities will experience unprecedented flooding, but also, and this is what few expect, there will be massive flooding in inland areas that have never suffered such problems, with water literally gushing from the ground. As underground aquifers collapse under the pressure, the world map will begin to change. Nostradamus was specific about the regions most affected. He wrote about the Tulip Lowlands, which many interpret as the Netherlands, a territory that lies largely below sea level. He wrote about the eastern islands that will disappear, likely referring to Pacific island nations. And he also wrote about New World cities, built on swamps that will revert to their original state. He was possibly talking about places like New Orleans or parts of Florida. The human impact of these events will be devastating. Nostradamus wrote, 100 million will seek new lands. Nations will close their borders. Brothers will turn against each other over a piece of dry land. With these words, he is predicting a climate refugee crisis in 2026 that will surpass anything the world has seen so far, and the tensions this will create will accelerate the conflicts he had already foretold in other prophecies. The fifth and final prophecy is perhaps the most hopeful, although it also comes laden with warnings. Nostradamus wrote, "In the year of 5 truths, the one who will unite will be born, not from the powerful, but from the humble, not with weapons, but with words, not with gold, but with wisdom. And the people will follow him because their hearts will recognize what is true." With this, he is announcing the emergence of a spiritual leader or movement in 2026. It will not be a traditional political leader. And Nostradamus was very clear about this. He wrote, "He will not seek power, nor will he accept it when it is offered to him. His only desire will be to heal what is broken, and his greatest power will be that he does not desire power." This describes someone who will emerge from humble circumstances, probably without any initial intention of leadership, but who will speak such profound truths that millions will spontaneously follow him. Nostradamus also gave clues about where this figure will come from. He wrote of the South where the heart of the world beats. Many interpreters believe he is referring to South America, specifically Brazil, which Chico Xavier identified as the heart of the world and the homeland of the gospel. Others believe it could be Africa. However, the important thing is not the exact location, but what this person will represent. Nostradamus wrote that this leader will teach the middle way in a time of extremes. When the world is divided between right and left, between materialism and religious fanaticism, between East and West, this figure will show that there is a third way, a path of balance, compassion, practical wisdom, and spiritual connection without dogmatism. And according to Nostradamus, this message will spread virally throughout the world in 2026. But here comes the warning that Nostradamus also included. He wrote, "The powerful will fear the one who does not seek power. They will try to silence him, they will try to discredit him, they will try to buy him. And when all else fails, they will try to kill him." This figure will face tremendous opposition from the existing power structures, precisely because he does not play by their rules. His power will come from the people, not from the institutions. Nostradamus also predicted the outcome of this confrontation and wrote, "That which is born of the Spirit cannot be killed by the flesh." Even if he falls, his message will live on, and from his sacrifice will be born a movement that no army can stop. This suggests that even if this figure is persecuted or harmed, his impact in 2026 will be the catalyst for a global awakening that will continue to grow beyond that year. Now let's connect these 5 prophecies. They are not isolated events. Nostradamus saw them as 5 waves of a single storm of transformation. The revelation about extraterrestrial life will shake our fundamental beliefs. The conflict between superpowers will demonstrate that the old order has collapsed. Volcanic eruptions will show that the Earth itself is participating in the transformation. Floods will force millions to migrate and adapt, and in the midst of all this chaos, a new spiritual leadership will emerge to show the way forward. Nostradamus wrote, "The 5 trials will appear to be punishments, but they are gifts. They will appear to be destruction, but they are renewal. They will seem like the end, but they are the beginning." This is the heart of his message about the year 2026. Yes, it will be a year of unprecedented crisis, but it will also be the year in which humanity will finally begin to awaken from its millennia-long slumber and remember its true spiritual nature. Each of these prophecies has a specific purpose within the plan of transformation. Extraterrestrial revelation will force us to expand our understanding of reality and our place in the cosmos. The conflict between superpowers will demonstrate that solutions based on domination and control no longer work. Volcanic eruptions will remind us that we are part of a living planet and not its owners. Floods will force us to cooperate and adapt or perish, and new spiritual leadership will show us that another path is possible. Nostradamus also wrote about how we will experience these 5 prophecies on a personal level. He said, each soul will feel the 5 truths in its own way, some with fear, some with denial, some with anger, but the awakened will feel them with awe, knowing that they are witnessing the greatest change in a year. Your reaction to these prophecies will say a lot about where you are on your own spiritual journey. If your first reaction is fear, Nostradamus would say that you still see transformation as a threat and not an opportunity. If your reaction is denial, it means you are not yet ready to let go of the illusions of the old world. If your reaction is anger, it indicates that you still believe someone is to blame for what is actually a simple cosmic evolution. But if your reaction is awe mixed with conscious preparation, then you are beginning to understand what Nostradamus truly saw. The 5 prophecies also operate on different levels. On a physical level, these are material events that will happen in the external world. On a psychological level, they are crises that will force humanity to confront its collective shadows. On a spiritual level, they are initiations that will raise the consciousness of those who are ready. Nostradamus understood these multiple levels and coded his prophecies to speak to all of them simultaneously. Here's something very few people know about Nostradamus's prophecies for 2026. They aren't set in stone. They are probabilities based on the trajectory humanity was on when he contemplated them, but he wrote, "The future can change if enough souls awaken and consciously choose another path." This means that although these 5 prophecies are highly probable, their severity and consequences can be modified by the collective consciousness. Nostradamus specifically wrote about this. If you pray with pure intention, you can move mountains. If 1,000,000 meditate in peace, they can calm oceans. If 1,000,000,000 awaken to love, they can transform the destiny of the world. This is crucial to understand. We are not passive victims of these prophecies. We are active co-creators of the future, and between now and 2026, every choice we make will influence how these predictions manifest. So, what should we do with this information? Nostradamus advised not to run from the prophecies, but to prepare for them. Don't fear them, but understand them. Don't deny them, but use them as maps to navigate what's coming. Preparation isn't just physical, though having basic supplies is wise. The most important preparation is spiritual, mental, and emotional. Strengthen your connection with your higher self. Practice staying calm amidst the chaos and cultivate genuine relationships with others who are also awake. Develop practical skills that will be valuable when conventional systems fail, and above all, keep your heart open and your faith that there is a greater divine plan operating through all of this. Nostradamus saw that those who consciously prepare will not only survive the 5 prophecies of 2026, but will thrive in the new world that will rise from the ashes of the old. He wrote, "Those who seemed mad for preparing will be seen as wise. Those who seemed weak for choosing love over fear will be recognized as strong. And those who were ridiculed for seeing what others did not see will lead the way into the new age." Nostradamus's 5 prophecies for 2026 are not simply a prediction of the future, but a mirror held up to humanity. They are unsettling, yes, because they shake the foundations of everything we believe to be stable, but they are also profoundly hopeful because they herald the end of an exhausted era and the birth of a more conscious reality. Nostradamus never spoke from fear, but from an understanding of cycles. When an era collapses, it is not to punish, but to liberate. And if his visions of 2026 come to pass, we are on the cusp of the most transformative period our generation has ever experienced. A turning point that will mark human history forever. The great seer described 5 events that defy conventional logic and shatter the comfort of the familiar. An official extraterrestrial revelation that will force us to redefine our place in the universe. A conflict between superpowers that will expose the fragility of systems built on power and ambition. Massive volcanic eruptions will remind us that the Earth does not belong to us. Catastrophic floods will cleanse what can no longer be sustained, and a new spiritual leadership will emerge that will govern not through imposition, but through awareness. None of this is punishment. It is all a call, an invitation to awaken, to release fear, and to understand that crisis always precedes evolution. These 5 prophecies are not meant to paralyze you, but to activate you. They remind us that we are not passive spectators of destiny, but conscious participants in a greater transformation. Emmanuel expressed it clearly: 5 trials, 1 truth. Humanity is ready to take the next step. Every external shock is actually an internal impulse to remember who we are, why we are here, and where we should direct our energy. True change does not happen only in the heavens or on earth, but in the minds and hearts of those who choose to see beyond the chaos. If everything you just heard resonated deep within your soul, take a moment and share your thoughts in the comments. Share your thoughts, your feelings, your intuitions. This space is a meeting point for souls who sense that something great is approaching and who don't want to face it from fear, but from wisdom. Share this message with your family, your friends, those you love, because preparing isn't about being alarmed, it's about understanding. Together we form a network of awareness capable of navigating any prophecy with clarity and purpose. Before you go, I invite you to click the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and share this video so that this message reaches more people who need it. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for joining me until the end, for your time, your openness, and your presence. May God bless you, guide you, and strengthen you in this time of great revelations.